you're thinking about making the move to Hamilton and you're not really sure about the place, you don't know that much about it, maybe you only know bad things that everyone talks about. Well, as someone who's lived here and worked here and played here pretty much my entire life, I'm gonna give you the nitty gritty. I'm gonna give you the facts, all right? The good and the bad. I came up with 5 pros and cons that I think everyone should know before considering planting their seeds here in Hamilton. So let's get right into it. Okay, pro number 1, let's talk about your money. Your dinero, your dollars, your cents, right? It's no secret that Hamilton is much more affordable than Toronto, even going down the QEW. It's gonna be more cheaper than Burlington and Oakville, even Mississauga. So when you buy a detached home in Hamilton, you buy it for, $800,000 to $850,000. You're getting a very nice home. Big lot, big backyard, room for the kids to play. Whereas in Toronto, you might spend $1.4 million to get a detached home, and you're not gonna have that space and that room to grow, right? So it being a relatively short commute, and obviously that depends on what time you leave, to Toronto, Hamilton's a great spot if you want to, plant your seeds with your family and you got to commute. Now, that being said, you got to really decide if the commuting lifestyle's for you. And I also know a lot of people did it and then they said, I can't do it. And they either moved away or, they got a new job, right? So your money's going to take you farther in Hamilton, but there's always things to consider the commute lifestyle. You're going to spend an hour, 2 hours there and back, and for a lot of people that doesn't work. But if you're not commuting, right, you work from home in Toronto, they don't have to be in the office, so they decide to move down the QEW and let their money work for them a little bit better, right? With all that being said, if you're looking at a map, you got Toronto, north of Hamilton, right across the lake. If you drive down from Toronto, you hit Hamilton. Then if you keep going east on the QEW, you got a lot of great neighborhoods and little towns, which get pretty much more cheaper the more east you go, right? So if commuting isn't a problem for you, you are working from home these days, you can find something even more east of Hamilton. And that's why you got to call the People's Realtor, because I know the best spots to make your money work for you, right? All the best spots, up and coming towns and cities, and it's all kind of around this hub of the Golden Horseshoe. So make sure you reach out, call or text or email, whatever you want to do to reach out. We love to help you. So like I said, $850,000, you're going to get a beautiful house in Hamilton, but $500,000, you're going to get a nice livable spot if you're a younger person. These are places that you might be able to afford as a young person, because we all know how difficult it's gotten for people, first-time homebuyers especially, to get into the housing market. But there's those pockets in Hamilton that have those great houses, for $500,000. Maybe you got to put a little work into them, but great lots, right? Next up, I want to talk a little bit about our green spaces, our nature, foliage, trails, waterfalls, because we've got a lot of them, right? Right now, I'm in one of our countless trails here in Hamilton. Just think of Hamilton, that image from the Skyway Bridge. They're driving over the Skyway Bridge. They see smokestacks, they see industry, they smell it, right? It's not very appealing to look at, but once you dig a little deeper, I'm telling you, endless amounts of places to explore. Coop Paradise, the Bruce Trail cuts through the escarpment, Niagara all the way north of Toronto, goes way up. We got great golf courses here. If you're a golfer, there's so many nice spots to explore. We have over 130 waterfalls. Did you know that? We have more waterfalls than any other city in the world. That's a true fact. You can Google it. I'm 95% sure I'm correct. So if you are someone that loves the outdoors, loves getting in nature, going for a nice hike, getting out there, Hamilton, you will be surprised, because we got goods. Out of anywhere in the GTA or Southern Ontario, we got the most beautiful outdoor spaces you can imagine. The nature is incredible. So if you're someone like that, you're gonna be pleasantly surprised when you come here. And you know me, People's Realtor, I got the spots. I know where you want to go. I know what neighborhoods are going to put you in the best spot. For instance, Rosedale. Rosedale's amazing. It's a quiet little pocket of the city, kind of tucked away. Not a lot of traffic goes through there. And it backs on to a nice, cove of the escarpment. And in there, you got Kings Forest Golf Club. You got the Kings Forest Trail. And this is a great golf course too. So if you love golfing, Rosedale's where you want to be. I was a former member there. Then I realized I am terrible at golf. And I said, to heck with it, right? But again, don't sleep on Hamilton. Don't sleep on our nature. And if you are this person, I'm going to put you in the best spot where you want to be. So phone number and info is down below. Make sure you call and text us. We love it when people just want to call and they want to learn more about Hamilton. That is my passion. But I will say though, and this is for anywhere, Southern Ontario though, ticks will get you. You got to wear your long pants. You got to check yourself because they're out here. Find them not too unoften, if that makes sense. So another thing to keep in mind, overall, the weather here is just beautiful. The winters aren't too bad, sans the last winter, but summers are beautiful, can get humid, can get real hot. So let's talk a little bit about Hamilton's nightlife. We got great spots down here. Right now I'm in Hess Village, pretty much right downtown. We're taking a walk through Hess Village, and it's beautiful down here. We got, independent shops and diners. We got Andiamo Barbershop right behind me. Trey Bucci owns it, who I grew up with. So tell him Joey D'Ambrosio sent you. And yeah, now there's a one-way street cutting through it and cars go through, but at nighttime they shut that down and everyone comes out to play, right? So tons of great spots here. Great cafe. Can't recommend it enough. And place, it says Mexican sushi here. I'll tell you a little story. My band used to play here every Thursday for years at a place called the Lazy Flamingo, and that shut down a couple of years ago. But, this place used to be all clubs. You remember the burrito era clubs and fist pumping and a lot of testosterone, but nowadays it's much more chilled out. Back in the day, I remember we used to finish playing our sets, 2 a.m. would hit. It was like the boxing bell run. And we would just stand right here on this patio and just watch the trouble starting to brew, watch the fight start to break up. But very different these days. Like I said, they shut this street down at nighttime, so it's very walkable. So we're in Hess Village. So along with Hess Village, you got Walk Street, you got Augusta Street. It's kind of an older crowd. The club scene here is not what it used to be. So if you're into clubbing and stuff like that, it might not be the best spot. But for a nice chill evening on the patio, this place is really turned into something that adults can enjoy. It's safe, and it's really a great spot. And that's along with Augusta Street too. Augusta Street historically, bars there attracted like an older kind of crowd, but both are great options. That's what you're looking to do. So if you are someone who that's important to you, you want to be around where stuff's going on, you want to get off of work, you want to go grab a beer. Hess Village is right kind of in the downtown core. Augusta Street is not too far away in Corktown. And you got Walk Street, but generally anywhere you're going to be able to find a local watering hole. So I wouldn't sleep on that. Being in the downtown core, if you live around here, you also have great access to anything you need by walking, right? And I know that's very important for a lot of people. They want to be able to walk at their groceries on the way home from work, yada, yada, yada. So down here is a great spot. And you know me, the People's Realtor, I got the best spots for you. So you just tell me 1 or 2 or 3 things you want to see in a neighborhood. I'm going to pinpoint you and put you exactly where you want to be. But you got to call me first. You got to text me first so we can chat. Book a Zoom call with me. Like I said, in the daytime, it's much more chill. Lots of patios, down in Dabble, Cello Cafe. These are great spots. You want to have lunch, not too far from work or whatever it may be. Highly recommend it. All right, guys, we're taking a little trip through the city, and I want to talk a little bit about the communities of Hamilton. What it's like in different parts of the city. Right now, I'm driving through downtown, and obviously around here, you got the walkability. You got a lot of older homes, and the communities down here are really strong, right? A lot of blue-collar families, hard-working families, and along with those things, you got great festivals. You got Super Crawl, which happens annually every year, and there's some amazing bands and artists that come through, and they close down James Street, big party all weekend. And along with Super Crawl, we have Art Crawl, which is the first Friday every month, I want to say, I'm pretty sure. And it's great. Tons of local vendors selling their wares. I check it out. I've gotten lots of great art, lots of great clothes, believe it or not, at Art Crawl. Along with that, and that's just downtown, right? And that's just the tip of the iceberg. But you even go like down to Stoney Creek, which is way out east, a suburb of Hamilton. You got Boots in the Creek, country nuts all through downtown Stoney Creek. You go even further east from that, you got the Winona Peach Festival, which is a very popular festival for families, for your kiddos. You get a Peach Sunday, which is honestly amazing, right? So these are all great things. And along with those things, we got some great independent theaters. We got West Dale Theaters, Playhouse, always showing cool films, some great live music venues, although we have seen some closures, right? And that's not a Hamilton thing. That's been happening everywhere. Toronto, seems like they're closing down every venue for condos, and we're not immune to that, right? But we still got Absinthe, which just reopened, Hess Village, Casbah unfortunately closed down. Places on Augusta Street to check out some live tunes. Stoney Creek, lots of great live music in Hamilton. In fact, Fort Downey, you can look this up, said it's the best city in Canada to go catch some live music. I don't know how true that is. I'd say he's not far off. We got great musicians here. Take it from me, I am a musician. I play all over the city. Tons of great bands, tons of great scene out here. Tons of places to go, to see, to hear music, to check out nature. Communities here are great. Obviously downtown, you're gonna have older style homes, smaller homes, blue collar, working class families. And then you go spread out from there, you suburbs, larger homes, go up the mountain, different communities. But right now we are down the mountain, we're downtown, and that's the key thing about Hamilton. We have the mountain. I say mountain, I don't really mean a mountain, it's just an escarpment. It kind of splits the city into two, right? Horizontally, if you're looking at it from north to south. So lower city and the upper city, vastly different. Upper city is more residential, more car centric. You're gonna need a car to get around a lot of the place. So if you don't mind that, there's great opportunities up there. The Limers Mall up there, tons of good restaurants. But if you want to live somewhere more community centric, walkable, more things to do, more bars to go to, more venues to go to, you're gonna want to be in the lower city, specifically closer to the downtown core. Either or, there's something for everyone at Hamilton. Take it from me. I've known the best of them. I've lived here with the rest of them. So you got to give me a call. I'm going to put you in the best spot. Tons of great spots to bring the family, to bring your kiddos, great breweries if that's your thing. Literally, if you look down here, you got so many places to go to within just a short walk. You want to be near Lock Street. You want to be near Hess Village, Yorktown, Jackson Square. There's tons of stuff for everybody, right? Don't sleep on it. Now, look, we got the goods here, man. All right, now let's talk about schools and where your family wants to live. Hamilton has so many diverse neighborhoods, but if you want to get out to the suburbs, there's great access to it, to and from Hamilton, surrounding Hamilton. And one community I really love is Stoney Creek. In fact, we're born and raised in Stoney Creek, and that's where I am right now. As you can see, there's nice, beautiful homes. Now, talking about schools, Hamilton's got two public boards. That's the Catholic School Board and the Public School Board. And both of those boards have great schools, highly rated. I grew up and went through them, and look at me, smartest guy I know. Great schools around here. Stoney Creek, some of the best parks. Got Highway 8 running through it, kind of connecting, east end of Hamilton to Stoney Creek. You're gonna see a lot of older style homes mixed in with a lot of newer developments in Stoney Creek. Right now, we're on Norwich Road. It's right near Green Road and Highway 8. And as you can see, there's a lot of older style homes and lots of great places to go. Eastdale Park just down the road. So many great parks around here. Ferris Park, Hunters Park, tons of things to do, right? We're moving to Hamilton, thinking about moving to Hamilton, and you wanted a nice suburb, big yards, stuff like that. You're gonna wanna go to Stoney Creek, or you wanna go up a mountain. That's where you're gonna find a lot of big lots, big yards, right? Where the kids can run around and play, go down to the park, don't gotta watch them. Very safe, very friendly. And that's just the thing about Hamilton. It's got a little bit of everything, and it's got something for everyone. Some amazing spots if you got a family, and maybe you got a family and unfortunately you got to do the commute. You're moving from Toronto or you're moving from wherever, and you got to get into the office 1 or 2 or whatever days a week, right? Well, Stoney Creek, the great thing about it is it's right along the QEW, and that goes for, Stoney Creek, go east, you're in Winona, there's lots of new developments there, but these places, such easy access to get on and off the highway if you do have to commute. That's a great thing to keep in mind. Maybe you're looking to get a little more for your money, and Burlington, Oakville, Mississauga, Toronto, you're just not getting the space you and your family needs. So you come down here, you're gonna find a beautiful place for the money you would have to spend in one of those places, right? And then you hop on the highway right onto the QEW straight to Toronto, or you hop on the GO station bus or train, and that's gonna take you there too. And it's relatively simple. So definitely keep that in mind. All right, guys, I've shown you the good. Now let's take a look at the bad and the ugly, right? Cons. So without further ado, let's get going. All right, next con. Let's talk about roads, infrastructure. Right now I'm driving down Burlington Street. This street is voted the worst road in Ontario. And we got a few on the top 10 list. Aberdeen is one of the worst. And that's mostly because there's a lot of industrial pocket Hamilton. You got trucks driving up and down them all day, every day, through the steel mills, to and fro. And then Aberdeen's on that list too. Another terrible road. I don't know if you can feel the bumps. It's nonstop bumps. These are very isolated spots, not very residential. So you're not gonna encounter them too much. Although Burlington Street does kind of connect Stoney Creek to downtown. Okay, so you might be hitting it up for that if you're going downtown from Stoney Creek or whatever. Another thing is Hamilton infrastructure. You know, we do got our problems with roads and infrastructure, a lot of failing infrastructure, sewage, and that means higher property taxes. Hamilton has some of the highest property taxes in Ontario, you know, relative. So that's something to think about. Now, all these industrial things and roads and infrastructure, these are isolated areas in Hamilton. You know, you gotta get in touch with me because you don't want to end up in the wrong neighborhood and then in the middle of a factory area and you got this factory over here, this factory over here, smell wafts over. You don't want to be around it, right? And so in regards to that, I'd stay away from the north end. You're gonna find very cheap housing there, affordable housing. But if that's a big problem for you and you don't want to be around that, you gotta stay away from that. A house, you might be looking at a house online, you're looking at the photos, then you don't see the zoomed out shot when it's in the middle of a industrial sector, right? And there's lots of that. Like I said, you drive over the Skyway, see it from the bridge. Most people don't want to live in stuff like that. And along with that, these aren't the greatest neighborhoods, right? So you're gonna want to give me a call. I'm gonna show you the best spot, how to steer clear all the industrial parts of Hamilton and really get into a nice, beautiful neighborhood for you, and the kiddos, the doggos, whatever. All right. So yeah, give me a call. Love to chat about it. Okay. I talked a little bit about walkability downtown. You got great spots. You can walk around. But if you're living outside that core, you're going to need a car. And I want to talk a little bit about public transit as well, because Hamilton, not so great. Okay. The buses, the bus line, if you're not in the downtown core, like I said, if you're in one of those other areas, or say you're up the mountain, the buses aren't going to be that great. Sometimes they're often late. But yeah, if you're outside of that core, you're going to have issues if you don't have a car. Hamilton is a very car-centric city. It was kind of built when they, redesigned all the main roads downtown, kind of built with the thought that everyone's going to be driving a car. So, this was decades ago at this point. There is light rail coming, or so they say. This has been a controversial subject, and it's supposed to cut right through downtown and reach all the way to Stoney Creek. The province is, said before, they pledged like $1 billion to go towards it. But nevertheless, it's been a very contentious issue in Hamilton. A lot of people for, a lot of people against. Obviously, if you're living up the mountain, stuff like that, you're not going to get that benefit of the LRT. So they say that is coming. Obviously, that hasn't even been started yet. A lot of people doubt it's ever going to even happen at this point. But that's something that'll, if completed, is going to take 5-10 years, right? So that's a lot of disruption downtown. Another problem with our transit is the GO station. I already said if you need to commute to Toronto, you could take the GO. Well, that is true, but it's not so easy, right? The best way to do that is to drive to Burlington and then go onto the station there, go to Toronto, come home, get in your car at Burlington, drive back to Hamilton. Because there hasn't been a great route that goes from Hamilton to Toronto. You can get on the bus, and there is some trains that are starting to go from Hamilton and even Niagara. Now, they've been building new GO stations for a long time there, but the routes haven't been set in stone. It's still very dodgy when you can get a train, when you can't. Sometimes they only run at rush hour. But again, like I said, your best way to get to Toronto is to drive to Burlington, and that's not great, right? So if you are commuting, driving is the easiest. And a lot of people don't like to drive, right? A lot of people can't drive, don't drive. Public transit is something that could be done much better in Hamilton. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. You do rely on public transit. There are good spots where you're going to catch a bus pretty frequently. It runs like clockwork. West Harbour GO train station. That is a good connection there if you're going to hop onto that one. But like I said, if you're coming from Stoney Creek or east, you're probably better off just going to Burlington and hopping on the train there. But if you're downtown, West Harbour GO train station is a great spot to catch a train as well. So we've been getting into it. Now we're on the beautiful beach strip here in Hamilton. It's Lake Ontario right there, and on a clear day. Another con I want to talk about is the crime. And Hamilton can be rough around the edges. Everyone knows that. Mid to major size city is immune from this, right? There's encampments everywhere. A lot of the parks are filled with them. Those parks are more downtown, closer to the core, but they're there, right? Hamilton has always had that kind of bad rap when it comes to stuff like that. But we'll say, in the early 2010s, Hamilton kind of seen this renaissance where it was rising from the ashes, right? The hype was real. We had all these great restaurants and shops moving in. All these people were moving into town, changing the landscape. All these areas were becoming so nice. And, that's still going on. Don't get me wrong. I definitely feel like the pandemic kind of made us regress a little bit. So we've seen kind of the homeless situation explode. It's kind of lost that shine it built up over the decade. A lot of areas, you don't want to be caught around there. There's a lot of drug use, right? So if you are a family, you're going to want to stay away from those places like, the North End. There's some pockets in the East End. Generally, you want to stay below Barton Street, closer to the escarpment. Above Barton Street, there's a lot of low-income neighborhoods, a lot of industry, a lot of weird stuff going around there. I'm not going to lie. You walk down the streets, you're going to see some weird shit. There's a lot of weirdos in Hamilton. That's only in some parts, right? Like, look where I am right now. This is beautiful. Hamilton's a big city. So if you want to know where to avoid these areas, you got to let me know and we'll hook you up. Another thing is car theft, right? I think by now everyone knows someone who's had their car jacked in the middle of the night from their driveway, right? And that's another thing that's across the GTA and Southern Ontario and the Golden Horseshoe. No other city is certainly immune to it, but it happens, okay? And now another con I want to talk about, Hamilton being a commuter city. And I say that because we do have a lot of commuters that have to make the trek to wherever they got to go. Obviously, that's not ideal. The Hamilton job market is kind of limited in that sense, right? If you're in tech, finance, stuff like that, and you move here, you're likely going to have to be moving or commuting somewhere if you have to go in the office. Our city was historically Steel City, right? That's why everyone called it Steel Town. It's not so much that these days. There still is the Fasco and Stelco. They employ a ton of people, but it's definitely bigger than that now. Shaking off some of its steel roots, but it's still in the heart of it, right? So if you're gonna work at a steel factory, you can live here no problem. So if you're coming here you don't have a job lined up, right? You might have a little trouble getting something in your field. All right, guys, that does it. We went through 5 pros and cons of living in Hamilton. We're gonna end it off here in Hess Village at Cello Cafe. I got my beautiful little espresso here and my cheddar scone. So if you're ever in the area, come hit up Cello. Good friend Simone owns it. And we also got the greatest commercial realtor in Hamilton history, Adrian Meckley. All right, guys, thanks again. And if you need to know any info, you got to reach out to me. My number's at the bottom of the screen. Call me, text me, email me, whatever you want.